Welcome to Yapzone, Andy again, and yeah, this one's. I'm just gonna stop saying that. I was gonna do the whole thing where I'm like, this is gonna be a short one, but I mean, you're just gonna see that it's a short one. I'm actually like basically running late for work. I was doing a whole lot, and it's not like a bad thing though, because I mean, it was not like I just was putting off stuff. I mean, I put off some things, but less than I normally do. It's mostly just because I was busy like working on things. Like I was writing my script and I was studying a little bit, and then I just kept forgetting to do the video diary because I'm sitting here actually pumping things out for once, and I didn't want to stop the flow. So yeah, that's why this one's probably gonna be a little bit rushed. I gotta get out of here in like 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes. Not really. I gotta get out of here like 15, but I want to end it before then. I don't want to be too rushed. Quick topic though, something that I have noticed a lot, and maybe I don't know, maybe it'll help some people to hear something about this kind of thing is I've noticed that, and this might be super common with men because of the stigma around emotions and everything and having to be like whatever. I mean, I know it's less now in modern society, but there's still like a stigma around men having to be tougher than everybody and like, you know, not cry about your feelings and not think about this and that and push forward because you got to be the provider, yada yada yada, all that stuff. That's like your value as a man was like based around like how much worth you bring to the table monetarily, and it's like it applies to a lot, everyone, women too, but it might lean more towards men. The whole being like a minimizer. I've noticed that I'm a minimizer, and by that I mean whenever things happen, like bad things pop up, or whenever I'm behind on something, or my car has an issue, doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it's like a bump in the road, I will minimize it and be like, it's not that big of a deal, which leads to forgetting, which leads to the mountain being formed out of what was supposed to be just a molehill. And now realizing that I have to, you know, put proper priority on the things that keep popping up around me instead of just ignoring it because you don't want to let yourself, get swarmed and drown in a sea of mundane tasks to the point where you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I'll update y'all next week, but my goal this week is to do a deep clean, really, just and try to enjoy it. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is shit's gross. I don't want to touch this," and then I also don't want to waste time because it takes time. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next hour. Like, you push it off so much to the point where then it becomes like a giant mess, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like, I'm not living in a pigsty, like, but still, I have like things just lying around that don't need to be. And while my house isn't that bad, my car is really bad. So like, I'll update y'all next week on if I followed through with it, but I'm going to try not to minimize the issue of my car not being really touched in a while, and, get it fixed and get it cleaned out and everything. And, I was sitting there saying, oh, I'm going to wait till I have the time and money to get somebody to detail it. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to take what I got and clean it myself. Cause, you know, if I'm trying to save money, there's no reason to waste it on other people. So I mean, I'm trying not to minimize things anymore, and I've noticed that if you let yourself get into the habit of minimizing things, you start to forget what's important. Uh, there is like this thing, and it bleeds over too. If you start to minimize things, what I mean by you forget what's important is it's not just negative things you're minimizing. You start to minimize the good things too. So you're not able to stop and really see things. Because if you're pushing things aside, you're not putting proper value on them, then eventually you just will be so like stuck in the middle of like this sea of what you dictated as small things, and so now you can't see what's important. Like, if that makes sense, it's basically just there was a lesson we learned whenever we were in high school from a teacher who thought that it was like the most important thing in the world. Her class was English, but the most important lesson that she wanted to teach us by the time we like left her class was to pay attention and appreciate the little things in life, and to not undervalue them, and to not get so caught up in what your brain can tell you is like the most important thing in the world. Because typically whatever is important is mostly important due to the small things that got you there, the small things that supplement it. So instead of minimizing things around you, if you give it the proper time of day, then you can see the things that, make you happy, the things that are good. Like when your friend says something nice to you, or whenever you get a stupid meme and it makes you laugh. Like the little things like that, while they seem so small and trivial, are very, very, very big, impactful, like important things in our lives. There's some people out there that don't even get messages from their friends, for example. So like, that's something that you could take pride in, or be happy about. And, just find the small things, like the joy in cooking, the fucking, I don't know, you're outside and the air feels nice or something. Just whatever is going on. A stranger says you look nice. The lady in the drive-through calls you sugar. Like, stupid things like that. Just find whatever it is, and instead of like letting yourself get distracted by the future or whatever, focus on the present and then see those little things, because then your future will be in a way better place. You can't immediately jump to the future. You can't start that off early. You got to wait. It has to come to you. You have to be patient. And through patience, if you stop distracting yourself with what will be and focus on what is, everything will, come together. So, and I think that actually honestly has helped me a lot more. Um, I've been doing like a lot of writing more. Like I actually finished basically the whole foundation of like my first screenplay. Uh, and it feels good. And, I told somebody about it the other day, and actually I told a couple people, but I told this guy at my theater, and he basically was like, staring at me like, because I wasn't even like looking at my notes. I was just reading off the top of my head. I was like, this is that. And I went on a tangent about it. And he was like, dude, I'm so impressed that you actually just like you knew like the vision and what you were doing all wrapped up, and you were able to still say that. And like, it sounds really good, like from a foundational standpoint. So, he's like, I'm excited to see what happens with it. So, I got to work on putting it into an actual piece of paper so I can start pitching it to people, and, get reviews and stuff like that so I can refine it. But I've been working on that stuff a lot more. I'm really just looking forward to this Japan trip in like a month and a half so I can, take a much needed break. And then when I get back, if I'm not already fired, quit my job and then get like a new one that's not like as demanding. Because y'all should not work. I've said this probably like 4 times in different videos, but don't get night shifts. It's not worth your time. Like you need to be a live human that's not like struggling with energy and everything. So another thing I want to improve on is whenever I'm doing these videos, I want to stop looking at my monitor where I can see myself and start looking at the camera more. That's small. It doesn't really matter either way. But yeah, just if you notice that you're sitting there and say you get a low tire pressure thing, instead of like going, I'll handle that later, literally just take 5 minutes to go get it fixed. Like it's don't make it harder than it is, because then things start adding up where like now that low tire pressure ruined your rims a little bit more, or the gas mileage went down. Ultimately everything will just add up and stack up. Everything has a adverse reaction to whatever it's doing. And just to put it in perspective, I'm one of those people that will drive my car until it breaks. And then if it doesn't break, I'll just keep going until the engine light goes away. And so I've had to fix a lot of it recently, and it's way better having a car that's taken care of than it is having a car that has an engine light on, a tire low, brakes that need to be fixed, tires need to be rotated, all that stuff. Because something will happen, you don't know, you can't predict what's going to happen, and then next thing you know, you haven't fixed anything and it got worse. So don't minimize life. Take a deep breath and focus on what's in front of you. And yeah, I'm gonna keep getting better, and I'll get back to y'all about whether or not I get that car fixed or cleaned, because I definitely need to take everything out of that and clean it. So, but yeah, that's enough for me today. I have to go to work in like 5 minutes. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.